Nick Aldis just cost Gunther a shot at the WWE title at SummerSlam. I'm going to tell you how Nick Aldis executed the perfect plan and why Gunther might be in for a rude awakening at SummerSlam. Let's talk about it on this episode of the Crimson Mask Show. Yes, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk defeated Sami Zayn and Gunther in a tag match where it would have seen Sami Zayn and Gunther added to the SummerSlam match between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes if they won that match. But that's not the story of the match. The story of the match is Nick Aldis finally getting his get back. He finally got his get back. Man, when I tell you that Nick Aldis has been disrespected on the microphone, RKO'd 1,000 times, Gunther beating the absolute shit out of him, talking shit to him, telling him he's nothing, like this man didn't hold the 10 pounds of gold forever. Are you kidding me? Nick Aldis waited right till Gunther was on the cusp of victory and snatched it from him. Snatched it right from him. And that is the way it's supposed to be done. That's the way it's supposed to be done. So now, let's get into the big story here. We all know why Nick Aldis did what he did to Gunther. And by proxy, Sami Zayn. Like, Sami Zayn had to catch straight. Sorry. But we know why he did it. Gunther is disrespectful as fuck. He's disrespectful as fuck. Gunther beat the shit out of him, and for some reason, he thought that it was just gonna be, he thought Nick Aldis was gonna come back to work the next week and just be like, okay, let me make some matches, it's official. Like, no, like, he had to get his get back. He had to. Because I think that there's a whole segment of fans that just don't understand who Nick Aldis is. Nick Aldis is legit as fuck. Like, go back and look. You can do your own research. You don't know who Nick Aldis is, go back and look. But I assume that the most of us wrestling fans who've been watching this shit for years, we all know how Nick Aldis is coming on the day-to-day. So I do have some concerns. My concerns is, if you're gonna put Gunther and Nick Aldis in a match together at SummerSlam, please, 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 please don't have Nick Aldis play this older wrestler coming back for one last hurrah against this wrestler that's in his prime. That is not what we're seeing here. Let me give you a fun fact. Do you know at the SummerSlam PLE that Nick Aldis will be one of the youngest wrestlers competing on that show? Did you know that? You wouldn't think that based on the way Nick Aldis presents himself. You know, he presents himself as, this gentleman. He wears these nice suits, But in reality, me and Nick Aldis the same age. Me and Nick Aldis are the same damn age. Like, Nick Aldis isn't some guy, pushing 50 years old, out there. We're not talking about Jerry the King Lawler coming in and getting the extra match, against a wrestler that's in their prime and he's struggling to keep up. Like, if you're gonna put Nick Aldis against Gunther, I expect to see fucking Nick Aldis. I don't want to see a guy in there getting his ass kicked and all this and struggling to fight Gunther. Nick Aldis should be able to stand toe-to-toe with Gunther on an equal level as far as wrestling capabilities. And I fully expect, as he should, I fully expect Nick Aldis to win that match because Gunther doesn't need to. So again, I can't wait to see how this story progresses. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I expect Nick Aldis is going to be stripped of his GM title for interfering in a match. And I expect him to be put in a match against Gunther at SummerSlam. And I expect Nick Aldis to win that match because that's what should happen. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Nick Aldis laid in the weeds, waiting to the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity to get revenge on Gunther. And he did just that. So next, we look at the unfortunate situation where Rhea Ripley had to surrender the WWE Women's title. My only question is this. So now you're doing this tournament to see who's going to be in the ladder match to face off for the WWE Women's title that's been vacated by Rhea Ripley. My only question is this. So far, 2 competitors have been announced. If you knew that Rhea Ripley was this injured, maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. Why did you wait to almost the last minute where we're like 2 weeks out from SummerSlam to start this thing? Why didn't she vacate? So she was fucked up. Come and get to like her last appearance, she was basically saying she was fucked up. Why didn't she vacate the title there? Then you would have already had time to build a good storyline heading into SummerSlam, focused around everybody competing for the WWE Women's title. I just don't understand the timing of it. Now, sure, I bet there's some type of like medical behind the scenes reason or something of that rather to why they had decided to announce this at the last minute. But I just don't get the timing of it, just to be frank. Like, then knowing that they're in a time crunch, I don't understand why the match between Lyra Valkyria and Bayley wasn't also for where the winner could be entered into the ladder match. I felt like that would have saved them a little bit of time. I don't know. Maybe this week they'll put her in the match based on her winning that match. Which, by the way, if it wasn't for the main event and Nick Aldis showing up, that match between Lyra Valkyria and Bayley would have stole the fucking show. It would have stole the show. That match was great. I think that was a great turnaround from where Lyra Valkyria was earlier in the week, where she was dressed like a hobo, and now she looks like a legitimate threat. Now she looks less like Nikki Cross. So I do like that, but I digress. That could have been for entry into the ladder match. So now they're in a time crunch. They got like 4 other spots to fill over the next 2 weeks. And yeah, they'll do it, but they've deprived themselves of being able to have a storyline based around the women's title and the ladder match. I don't get it, but we'll see what happens. But it's very unfortunate. Rhea Ripley, she's one of my favorites. It sucks that she had to vacate the title. I'm sure she'll get it back when she returns, but it absolutely sucks. And WWE is handling it very sloppily. Are y'all ready for the first ever segment called The Clown Corner, where I talk about the most clown-ass shit that I've seen in WWE this week? And this week, we're going to talk about people under sports contracts or celebrities. We could do both. Sports athletes, celebrities, getting into physical altercations with WWE wrestlers where we know for a fact that there won't be any payoff whatsoever. What am I referring to? Well, let's take a look. And this is by Fade over on X. We're about to see this little altercation between Tom Brady and Logan Paul. Pow! Right in the kisser. And you know what my issue with it is? My issue with this is that there's no legitimate payoff to be had. What's going to be the payoff? We know damn well that Tom Brady isn't going to get in the actual match where he has to actually wrestle, be good, and wrestle Logan Paul. We know that's not going to happen. So what's the point of it? And he's like, oh yeah, I really would like to have a WWE match. Tom, no. I know you're trying to scratch the competitive itch any way you can because you're retired. Tom, just don't do it. Madison Square Garden's Saturday night's main event. was definitely one of the best Saturday night main events I've seen in a long time. In a long time. It did, to a degree, it fucking disgusted me. As a Bulls fan, just all the New York Knicks glazing. Oh my God. Like, but it was pretty cool. Cat choke slamming the shit out of Dominic Mysterio and Jaden McDonough. That was pretty fucking cool. The whole shit surrounding Jalen Brunson was cool. When it comes to Jalen Brunson, I'm a bit of a homer because, you know, he's a Chicago guy and, now he's a champion, he's the king of New York. So, I mean, but I thought that was cool. Tyrese Halliburton, what the fuck you do? Okay, first of all, here's back to touch on again, athletes that are under contract that know they can't really do anything. Jalen Brunson already just had wrist surgery. So we know it was a 0% chance of him getting physical. Tyrese Halliburton just missed the entire NBA season. So I knew he wasn't going to get physical. But damn it, if I wouldn't have had enjoyed just like a chair shot or something to Jalen Brunson's back or something, but I understood they couldn't do it. But that's like the peak of involvement for athletes or celebrities or people who have it in their contract that they can't have WWE matches and shit like that. But everything that happened at Madison Square Garden for Saturday night's main event, that's not a part of the Clown Corner. The Clown Corner is strictly this fiasco between Tom Brady and Logan Paul because it has no payoff. It has no real payoff. So that's our Clown Corner for this week for WWE. All right, y'all, that's it. If you made it this far, please like the video. Please subscribe. It'll help us with the algorithm. I'll see you guys next time on the Crimson Mass Show. We out.